We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. And do not forget to ring the notification bell. We can come on live at any time. If you want to support this independent, national, true, rebel outpost of college football, with a donation, help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. Look, Kenneth Mohr, the ECU Pirate, right out of the gate, actually talking actual college football and the upcoming season, not Bills or realignment. Go Gators. We talk about everything in college football here at Peek Around the Corner. We've been talking college football every single day. We're going to talk college football again today. We have another spotlight, and it is on who? It is the UCLA Bruins. They are on the spotlight today. We're going to be talking about college football hype. A very exciting. I got all jazzed up. I read the CBS column about who is getting the spring hype. We're late in the spring. June? 2 weeks from today is the start of summer. Who is getting the hype? And it's based upon vibes. Vibes, not metrics, but vibes. So we're going to be talking about that. I'm excited. Look. LSU, Miami, Indiana, Florida, Virginia Tech is in the upper left-hand corner. Let's go. So we're going to talk about that. But no, we are going to talk about the bill. We are going to talk about the Cruz Cantwell bill because we talk about everything in college football. And we're going to talk about that at the end. And we're only going to skim the surface because we've talked a lot about it. But, and we'll save it to the back half of the monologue. But let me ask you a question. Before we talk about college football, and then we'll go back into the bill here. I got a question. Kenneth Maynard, Gators on there twice the hype. You know, I know Kenneth Maynard agreed with me. Well, a lot of you laughed at me. A lot of you did. When I have the Florida Gators. Let me show you guys something here. I did this early spring when I had the Florida Gators at number 7 to finish in the SEC. A lot of you laughed at me. Chef Mohr, less Gator hype, show us on the field. I get it. The purple and gold LSU, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Alabama Cream. A lot of you are laughing at me. But in a few months from now, you will not be laughing at me. I guarantee that this is the year of Greg the Gold. Before we get into let me ask you all a question. Can I ask you all a question? What does the Cruz Cantwell bill, the Saving College Sports Act, what does it accomplish? What does it accomplish? Can anybody answer that question? What does the bill as written accomplish? We got a $5 holler. We've got a $5 holler mowing. You know who was not, first of all, do you know who was not on the spring 2026 hype board that you're looking at right now? Besides the Gophers, I don't see a Buckeye on there. I do not see a Buckeye on there. Now, I've got the Buckeyes winning the national championship. What does this mean? Does it mean anything at all? We shall see. Mowing, starting us off with a $5 holler. Greg's so cold, his driver license photo has a permanent winter weather advisory banner scrolling across the bottom of it. I do not know why I'm laughing. I only encourage mowing when I laugh. I'm going to have to edit that out of the live show. Mowing After Dark. Thank you, my friend, my brother. I appreciate it. $5 holler. That ain't right. That's not right. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Mohr did not see the Buckeyes on the hype board, and now he's throwing shots. He's throwing elbows at the Golden Gopher, but that's just is not good. That is not right. That's not going to be correct in 2026. I guarantee you that. Thank you, Mohr. I do appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. It does not even stop that. The bill stops SEC and the Big Ten realignment, unfortunately. The bill accomplishes one thing. And we're going to talk about it at the end, the back end of the monologue. And you can imagine the discussions. So when this came out, I'll show it to you in a second here. Hold on. When this came out, the Big Ten presidents and chancellors also received an invitation, much like the SEC presidents and chancellors received an invitation to participate in a virtual meeting on Tuesday with Maria Cantwell and Ted Cruz for discussion on the legislation. Yeah, well, that is going to be, does peek around the corner know how many presidents and chancellors are going to show up for that virtual meeting with Cantwell and Cruz? No, we do not. We're going to go back into this. We're going to go back into this at the end of the back half of the monologue. But this bill has received a very, as you can imagine, a very cold reception in the Big Ten and the SEC. But we got more information here at Peek Around the Corner, what is being talked about within the Big Ten on this subject. The Big Ten has a certain perception of this bill. It's a Trojan horse. If you know about the story, the myth, the mythical Greek, what was it? The Greeks and the Trojans, and the Greeks are faking like they're retreating. They're going to lose the war, the battle. And they build a big old horse, wooden horse, hollow. And they have some of their fighters inside. And it's like a gift. And the Trojans lower the drawbridge. I'm just making that part up. I don't know what happens in the story. The horse gets in there. And then eventually, when everybody's drunk and celebrating that the Trojans won the war, it opens up and the fighters. And anyways, the Trojan horse. This bill is the Trojan horse. And it's not going to get through the gates. The title of the show. It's not happening. I do think that Cruz and Cantwell, their intentions were probably good. A lot of it was good. But they absolutely blew it. There could have been something done. There was a thirst for compromise. But targeting the Big Ten and the SEC, it ain't happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not happening. The more, if they're not going to get the votes, they're not going to get the vote. I've already said I'll eat a double cheeseburger with 2 types of cheeses live on PATC if this bill gets passed. It ain't going to pass. There is one part of this bill that's even worse than the Section 205. And the Big Ten and the SEC are going to just completely walk away from everything. There has been articles. They're going to be continue to be written. John Wilner. A lot of them are saying this is only fueling the breakaway quicker and faster. It's accelerating. The breakaway is a very, very risky and dangerous proposition. We don't know how that's going to go. It could go really bad. But this bill, and we're going to talk about the one part of the bill, it is an absolute no-go. The Big Ten and the SEC are not going to play with this. I have been told that even the University of Minnesota they have let Maria Cantwell they've let her know that they've let her office know this ain't happening. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get in that one part of the bill that makes this Trojan horse. It has been spotted. The Big Ten and the SEC know what's inside that bill. You try to keep it hidden, but there is one part of that bill that cannot be allowed to get through the gates. We're going to talk about that. But first of all, we're going to talk a lot of football. And I am getting so excited. It is June 7th. We're not going to wish summer away. We're not going to do that. But we're going to continue our work here at Peek Around the Corner. We're going to talk college football every single day. And Sunday, we're going to double up on it. We're going to do the spotlight. We're doing the spotlight in UCLA. And I got to tell you, when we do a spotlight on these teams, I take a look at it. We all take a look at it. We break it down. And then we show you what the PATC early prediction was. And it matches what I first thought, kind of, sort of. We're talking about hype today. I'm kind of buying this UCLA Bruins hype. I'm starting to understand. Why some Big Ten YouTube channels are saying, well, we got to keep an eye on UCLA. UCLA going to go over the win totals. UCLA is going to surprise some people. UCLA is going to have a big upset win this year. I now understand. Bob Chesney, he's got a whole lot of success. They brought in, it's like a, I don't know how to call it. It's sort of like the Indiana version of this with Kirk Cinetti, bringing over those James Madison players. Bob Chesney did a little bit of it, obviously, because he was the next James Madison coach. But they brought over some other players. The portal, the Bruins portal, we might be looking back on it and saying, wow, they did some great stuff in the portal. So we're going to talk about the UCLA Bruins. But first of all, we're going to start with there. Then we're going to go to the hype. And then we are going to go back into the Trojan horse. We've got a super chat from Christopher Hooter. Christopher Hooter, the purple and gold. The purple and gold super chat. It freezes the P2 and keeps Notre Dame independent. I think Christopher Hooter's answering the question, what does the one thing that the bill does? It doesn't even necessarily freezes the P2. It does for a while until 2036 or 2030 when the Big 12, it stops the Big 10 and the SEC from acquiring an individual schools' media rights. But after 2030, a Kansas or a Utah, their media rights, they're free from the Big 12. So I don't even think it permanent. I don't think it even freezes the Big 10 and the SEC expansion. It encumbers them. It makes it more difficult. It puts a pause button. It does a lot of things that the Big 10 and the SEC don't want it to do. But ultimately, it doesn't even freeze the expansion. It does not freeze poaching from the Big 12 and the AC onto each other. And Notre Dame independent, I don't even think it does that, because ultimately, if this bill passes, there's going to be a breakaway regardless. We'll talk about more. That's not the answer that I was looking at. And that's not, again, there's one part of this bill that is an absolute, we're not having it. And we'll talk about it. Somebody in the chat room did allude to it, but I'm not going to highlight it quite yet because I don't want to give it away. We're giving a tease. The Trojan horse was filled with cheeseburgers. That would be terrible. Absolutely terrible. We've got Ricky Tungate, massive super chat. Wow. Unbelievable. Moen, the man, along with you, Greg, enjoy both shows. Thank you, Ricky Tungate. Thank you, Mr. Hoosier. I appreciate, very humbled that you'd say that. And thank you for the incredible support. Really, truly, incredible support. Mr. Hoosier, Ricky Tungate. Moen and Rock and Rant on tonight. Okay. All right. I'm going to be watching it. Hopefully, I have a time to put a few comments in there and teach Moen and Rock and Rant a lesson. But we'll see. If they start dogging my Golden Gophers like they often do, I'm going to have to put in a comment. I'm going to have to throw an elbow back at them. MBM. Thank you, Ricky Tungate. Appreciate it so very much. Thank you very much. All right. So, woof, woof, doggo. College football is pain. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's do a quick roll call here. Case Struthers is in the house. Edward the Auburn Tiger. Edward the Auburn Tiger is here. The Buckeye Jared Jones. The Georgia Bulldog. Don Scruggs. Georgia is not up on here either. There's no Georgia. There's no Ohio State. There's no Alabama. What is going on? Spring 2026. The hype machine has started. Chef Maul, Miami's up on there. Breeze Frey. Rich Austin, the Utes are not up on that board. But you know who is? The Virginia Tech Hokies are. Nick, the Virginia Tech Hokie, I appreciate you able to come in here and have some fun with us tonight. Appreciate it. Maniac Reactions. I'm going Rogue TV. Let's go. Let's go. You're right. Deadeye, yo. Yo, Deadeye. Bob Swanger is in the house. Amazing Blue. David Kreitzer. Outlaw Skis is here. Amy. Thanks for coming on in, Amy. I appreciate it. Bimba 75-79. Run Underwood and Michigan will be fine. Go Blue. We're gonna find out, Bimba. We're gonna find out, but Michigan is not on that hype board either. They're not up there. Oregon is. Indiana is. Oh, look what else is up there. The USC Trojans. You all remember what I said about USC, right? Right? Or very early in the winter, PATC, Greg DeGold. What did I say? What did I say about the USC Trojans? Fight on, USC. Laugh at me now. Laugh at my singing. Laugh at my dancing. Laugh at my predictions. Get it out now. Get it out now. But later on, I'm going to be laughing at you. I'm going to be laughing at you. I did not know. Hold on. Timeout. I'm calling a timeout. I know we got a show to get to. I get that. We've got very important things to get to. I get that. I'm going row is Omega Supreme. I did not know that. Omega Supreme, my brother from another mother. I did not know. I apologize. I'm going Rogue TV. I did not know that was you. You probably didn't even know I was me. But thank you, Omega Supreme. Thank you very much for coming on in. We've got another Sparty in the house. We got Bimba 75, 79 right next to Omega Supreme. Holy smokes, there's going to be some elbows thrown today. Thank you for coming on in, Omega. I appreciate it, sir. Very much appreciated. Zero Wiz is another Sparty that is in the house. BYU football is here. John Boxleitner is here. We got the ECU Pirate, Kenneth Maynor. We've got the Oklahoma State Cowboy. Are UCLA fans of myth? We have a couple here in PATC family. We got a couple. Studzilla is in the house. We got John Grove. Every man a Wildcat has landed a 2027 prospect over the Nittany Lions. We're so back. Rich Austin. Matt Campbell has not recruited very well at Penn State yet. Give him time. We got the Arkansas Razorback PATC, followed up by the purple and gold. Go Tigers. Old Dad Mr. Seminole is in the house. Woof woof doggo. Pony up SMU Mustangs. Ooh. We have not done the spotlight on SMU. We're going to get there. Who else is here? We've got Dante's Inferno Purgatory. We've got Mama Duck Clemson Tiger. We got Anthony Campbell. Let's go Irish. We got another Irish in the house. And the Irish are part of the hype. And they should be. I'm glad my Gophers are not playing that. The Irish are going to be... That defense, and if they get Aeneas Williams having any close to the production of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat the Irish. Big Gun Shop is in the house. The Big Gun Shop, talking comics. Press the like button because I like the content. You should do the same, dear reader. Smash that like button. Smash it. All right, let's go to it. We've got a Studzilla. A member once again, 6 months. He's been a member of the family. My goodness. Let's put this up here. You are officially knighted once again, Studzilla. College football, cloak and dagger. Greg, you need a sparkly golden jacket or robe when Greg the Gold shows up. Well, last year, the little general, wait a second here. The little general went out and she got me some stuff. She got me a golden baseball cap. She got me golden chains. I got rings. I had my golden sunglasses. How many times did I wear that in 13 weeks, 14 weeks? How many times? How many times did Greg the Gold come out with that getup? I think twice. But this year, it's going to be every single week, because every single week, my picks against the spread is going to be above 50%. It's an absolute lock. 60% for the season. Absolute lock. Thank you, Studzilla. I'm not going to get a new ensemble. I got to wear what we did. I got to actually wear what the wife purchased last year. But see, I failed all you guys. I failed the little general, but I'm not going to embarrass myself this year. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. He saw it once. I think too bad the little general wasted her money. BYU football. I think I wore it twice. I'm pretty sure I did. I might have even wore it a third time when I pushed, when I had the same wins as losses. The new uniforms and logo unveiled for the Timberwolves. What do they look like? They look okay? They look okay? Hopefully they look okay. Have to catch the Bruins spotlight later. Thank you, Amy, for dropping on in. Here comes the hype train. All right. Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk some college football. Thank you, Moen, Christopher Hooter, Ricky Tungate, Studzilla, starting us off today. I appreciate all the support. First, we're going to go in the spotlight, and then we're going to go onto the hype train here. CBS, great article. I agreed with I agreed with it all. This was me writing that article, although this person could actually put sentences together. So, great article written by CBS Sports. We'll get into it. First of all, the UCLA Bruins, the spotlight. I tell you, I am becoming a believer. I'm becoming a believer. UCLA Bruins. If everything if they stay healthy, if the portal produces, woo, we might be onto something. Now, it starts with this man, Nico, I'm leaving on a jet plane. He does have to get better. He's played enough football. If you read the magazine Athlon Sports A fellow anonymous Big Ten coach says about Nico, I'm leaving on a jet plane, and I'm paraphrasing, his arm doesn't really, how do I say it? He's not going to be able to throw their UCLA Bruins to victory. He cannot consistently make those throws downfield. Last year, I think he played 12 or 11 games. Only 1,900 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a decent completion percentage, 64.4. But then again, he dumps it off. Can't really take the shots downfield. Now, maybe he doesn't have the talent around him. We'll check that out in a moment here. A 123.5 quarterback rating, that's got to be at least 20 points higher when you're playing in your third year like he did. 505 yards rushing. Now, he did use his legs quite effectively last year. And it did make UCLA's offense a little bit more dynamic, 4.5 average per rush. That counts the sack yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Overall, he did okay. He did okay. He's got to be better. And here's the thing, though. He's got more talent around him this year than last year. And that's not even close. So, going to be very interesting to see Nico when he's got this man behind him. Wayne Knight, the transfer from James Madison. What a year last year. 1,373 yards rushing. 6.6 average per rush. 9 rushing touchdowns. And then out of the backfield. And he's going to help Nico a lot. 40 receptions. 397 yards receiving. 9.9 average reception. 1 receiving touchdown. This guy led James Madison to the Sun Belt Conference Championship. They won the title, and then they went off to the playoffs. Mr. Wayne Knight now goes to the Big Ten, and he's going to be lining up behind Nico. I'm leaving. So that was a very big time get. Bob Chesney was able to get his star running back to go from James Madison to UCLA. But what about the wide receivers? Now again, Wayne Knight caught a lot of balls. He's going to catch a lot of balls at UCLA. Leland Smith, San Jose State, when he went in the portal, a lot of guys went after him. There was quite a few. There was like 3 San Jose State wide receivers in the portal that had interest. They threw that ball all over the playground last year. Leland Smith, 43 receptions, 688 yards receiving, 16.0 average per reception, 3 receiving touchdowns. Again, Leland Smith stretched that field for San Jose State. Does Nico have the arm to throw him open? I don't know. But he's talented. Nico's got some talent, right? Wayne Knight, Leland Smith. But that's not all. That's not all. They got also Landon Ellis in the portal. 36 receptions, 624 yards receiving, 17.3 average per reception, 5 receiving touchdowns. So they landed Wayne Knight, the great running back from James Madison. They landed the best available James Madison receiver for 2025. Bob Chesney bringing his wide receiver and running back into the fold. Ellis had a 17.3 average per reception. Leland Smith, 16-point average per reception. 2 receivers that can stretch the field, and my question is, can Nico get them the ball down the field? I don't know. but it's got talent. Now again, Wayne Knight coming in as a transfer. Leland Smith coming in as a transfer. Landon Ellis coming in as a transfer. That's a lot of movement. Nico, is everything going to be smooth early in the season? Again, it's Bob Chesney running the team. Defensively, UCLA going to have a whole lot of new players on the defensive line. The linebackers, they feel pretty good about. The secondary, they got some returning players. They did not really have to go in the portal for the secondary, starting with Scooter Jackson, the nickelback for the UCLA Bruins. Very good season last year. He graded out spectacularly. The nickelback, not quite often the leader in the secondary, but he's one of the leaders. 31 solo tackle, 44 combination, 2 interceptions. They've also bringing back Roderick Pleasant, who was their leading cornerback last year. UCLA, decent secondary. What about the schedule? What about the UCLA Bruins 2026 schedule? Do I love this first game? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what kind of condition my condition is in on September 5th on that first Saturday on week 1. The first, not week 0. We're going to be there week 0, but week 1. I'm guessing I would have already done one watch party, probably 2 watch parties. I probably would have already done one for a Friday night game. UCLA at California, watching JKS versus Nico I'm a leaving. Wow. We're going to learn a lot on that game. UCLA, California, the rivalry, first week of the season. Let's go. Then San Diego State at home. That ain't going to be an easy one. San Diego State is going to be one of the teams, the G6 teams, that we're going to be putting the spotlight on after we do the Power 4 teams, all the Power 4 teams. San Diego State is going to be one of them. That's not going to be an easy game. UCLA starts the home Big Ten, the Big Ten schedule at home against Purdue, on the road against Maryland. Then they meet up on the road against Oregon, at home against Wisconsin, Michigan State, Nevada, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, USC. So they play Oregon and USC. All right. They avoid Ohio State. They avoid Indiana. They do play Michigan. They do play Illinois. They're on the road in Minnesota. Minnesota beat UCLA a couple of years ago at UCLA. Now UCLA comes the return trip. November 7th, UCLA. November 7th, UCLA. November 7th. The weather in Minnesota on November 7th ain't the same that it is in the Rose Bowl in Southern California on November 7th. It's not the same as it is in Oregon or in Washington either. All I'm saying, I ain't saying, but I'm saying. I ain't saying, but I'm saying. Thank you, Tony Petit in the Big Ten. We got our first Southern California team coming into Minnesota in November. Let's go. UCLA. Look, they did bring some talent in, no question about it. They brought some talent in using the portal. I've got them number 13. Now this is the one team that I might be moving up. Sorry, Omega Supreme, Zero Wiz. I might have the Bruins over the Michigan State Spartans. Sorry, Ryan Willie and Jeff Olson and all you evil badgers out there. I might have UCLA up above Wisconsin. I'm not going to have them ahead of Washington. I'm not going to have them ahead of Illinois. And I ain't definitely not going to have them ahead of the beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers. So, UCLA at number 13. Yeah, I think I'm moving them up. I think I am moving them up. The Almighty. So it's colder in Minnesota than Oregon and Washington? Yes. Yeah. Yep, not even close. Not even close. Google it. Google November average low attempts, Minnesota versus Oregon and Washington. Come on, UCLA. Come on in. Come on in. Everyone's making jokes about Greg the Cooler. November 7th. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That has been your UCLA Spotlight. Let me know how wrong I got it once again by having UCLA at number 13 in the Big Ten. But I'm thinking I might move them up a spot or two. Let me know. Let me know how wrong I got it. All right. The Hype Machine. I love this article. I want to share it with you all. I just absolutely love this article. College football teams generating buzz ahead of 2026. LSU, Notre Dame, USC offseason, the hype builds. College football offseason has never been quiet, and 2026 is no different. Maybe for reasons that aren't all that exciting to some, even with all the talk of college football playoff expansion and government involvement in the sport's future, there has been no shortage of buzz surrounding the teams themselves. That's what this list is about. The teams mentioned are the ones that have been impossible to ignore. It's not just a list of the favorites to win the national championship. So you don't have the Buckeyes in there, but a few dark horses and wild cards mixed in as well. Of course, buzz and expectations can be just as much a burden as a benefit. Of the 12 teams that made this list a year ago, only 4 of them went on to reach the college football playoff. 5 others fired their head coach. In other words, off-season momentum doesn't always translate into fall success. There's no real set criteria. It's a lot about vibes, honestly. And right now, these are some of the teams with the best vibes going on in early June. Cody Nagel, fantastic article. Let's get to it. CBS Sports. Hype begins now. The LSU Tigers. The LSU Tigers. Mick Stevens in the chat room. Frogs. Mick Stevens, we did a TCU Horned Frog Spotlight yesterday. Go check it out if you missed it on our live show, the TCU Horned Frogs. The LSU Tigers. If this isn't the most obvious choice, then I'm not sure where you've been this offseason. The Lane train has been college football's loudest story since Lane Kiffin left Oxford for Baton Rouge, and LSU has embraced every bit of the attention that comes with it. But for as much as Kiffin enjoys being at the center of the conversations, he's backed up the hype with arguably the most impressive roster rebuild of the offseason. Ooh, boy. There's a reason why I've got LSU number 2 in the SEC. There's just too much talent to ignore. LSU assembled the nation's number 1 transfer portal class with former Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt. You all know how much I love Sam Levitt. You're going to find out what Sam Levitt is all about in 2026. Former Colorado offensive tackle Jordan Seaton, former Ole Miss edge rusher Prince Yu, among the top newcomers. The Tigers are loaded up at virtually every position, turning what looked like a transition year into one filled with legitimate college football playoff expectations. Odds to make the college football playoffs plus 155. The hype machine goes on to the Texas Longhorns. CBS Sports, Cody Nagel, fantastic article. The Longhorns have a loaded roster to surround Arch Manning in what is expected to be his final season before the NFL draft. After falling short of expectations in 2025, Texas attacked the offseason with the urgency of a program that believes its championship window is wide open. Manning returns after showing significant growth down the stretch last season. Around him was one of the deepest rosters in college football, with impact additions through the portal and the blue chip talent stacked on both sides of the ball. The confidence inside the program is impossible to miss. Steve Sarkisian hasn't shied away from weighing in on the biggest issues facing college football, nor has he passed on the opportunities to needle rivals out in West Texas, the Red Raiders. More importantly, he sounds like a coach who generally believes this could be his most complete team yet. The odds to make the college football playoffs are minus 185. Big chalk to make the playoffs. And again, we've got the Texas Longhorns beating the Buckeyes to start the season. We got the Longhorns losing to the Buckeyes in the national championship game. Hype, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish felt robbed after being left out of last year's college football playoff, despite a resume many believe was worthy of inclusion. That perceived snub has fueled a revenge tour mentality in South Bend and helped make the Fighting Irish one of the offseason's biggest storylines. The hype starts with quarterback CJ Carr, who enters 2026 as the betting favorite at FanDuel to become Notre Dame's first Heisman Trophy winner since Tim Brown, all the way back since 1987. The optimism is backed by experience too. Notre Dame leads the FBS in returning snaps 66% and is tied for second nationally with 14 returning starters. Combine that with continuity with a schedule widely viewed as one of the most manageable among the major contenders, it is easy to see why there is so much buzz for a deep playoff run. The odds to make the college football playoffs, minus 700. And Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Leonard Mohr, that's all I got to say. The best defensive back in the country, Leonard Mohr, wearing the number 15. The Fighting Irish are absolutely loaded. Where does the hype train go next? The PATC guaranteed Trojans are going to make the playoffs. USC has had much attention as any program west of the Rockies, driven by the expectation that its number one recruiting class will be ready to contribute right away. While there is plenty of returning production, including more starters back 15 than any team at FBS, the Trojans are still counting on the wave of freshman talent to fill the key gaps and raise the overall ceiling of the roster. I agree, USC is there. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're not quite there in contending for anything higher. That is my belief. But I think the Trojans are going to be there. Quarterback Jaden Mayava also became the central figure in the conversation, even though he's not getting nearly enough Heisman Trophy attention. Still, much of the buzz around USC ultimately circles back to Lincoln Riley, where the noise is more about whether he can finally steer the program into the college football playoff for the first time. Odds to make the playoffs, plus 270. We've got them booked in here at PATC. Indiana. This wouldn't be a valid list without the reigning national champion. Despite coming in just outside the top 5 in CBS Sports 138 and being included in none of the early college football playoff Final Four projections from all 10 participating experts back in April, there is still plenty of national buzz surrounding the Hoosiers. At some point, you have to stop doubting Kirk Cignetti and what he's built in such a short time in Bloomington. Fernando Mendoza is gone to the NFL draft after going number 1 overall to the Los Angeles Raiders. In steps TCU transfer Josh Hoover, who, if he can settle in quickly and clean up the turnover issues that surface at times in Fort Worth, has a chance to limit the drop-off at quarterback. The odds for the Indiana Hoosiers to make the college football playoffs is minus 350. The hype train goes where? To Miami. The Hurricanes were one play away from their first national championship in 2 decades. A near miss that only sharpened the expectations headed into 2026. Maria Cristobal isn't letting Miami fade into the background. No. With the program carrying legitimate title contending hopes once again this fall. For a while, it looked like Miami would have serious questions at quarterback before they swooped in and landed Darren Mensah from Duke. The offensive line, a little bit of a question mark, although talented, remains relatively inexperienced. They lost the big pieces last year. 2 major pieces from one of the nation's top pass rush units are gone, creating real pressure points on both sides of the ball. Even so, the Hurricanes enter the season as the clear ACC frontrunner, minus 140 on FanDuel, and are chasing their first conference championship since joining the league in 2004. Odds to make the college football playoffs, minus 300. Who's next? Who's next on the old hype train? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The Florida Gators. Let's stay in the Sunshine State, going from Miami to Florida, where there's a new coach buzz for the Gators in the Swamp. John Summerall arrives in Gainesville with a proven track record, owning a 43-12 career mark that includes a trip to the college football playoff last season. Florida retained a number of talented pieces from the previous staff recruiting classes, but now it's on Summerall to extract more from a roster that has underachieved relative to its talent level. The quarterback battle remains unsettled, with Georgia Tech transferred Arian Philo and redshirt freshman Trammell Jones Jr. still competing for the job headed into the season. Florida will need someone to separate early in fall camp. The Florida Gators got them coming in 7th in the SEC. Hype train, and there is plus 370 for the Gators to make the playoffs. Plus 370. Ole Miss. Now, we at PATC, we got Ole Miss in the playoffs. We got them as the fourth SEC team out of 4. We got them squeaking in. We know that they lost Lane Kiffin, but the Ole Miss Rebels are bringing back way too much talent. We mentioned Lane Kiffin's departure from Ole Miss at the top of this list, and while that breakup generated a lot of drama, the Rebels have done a great job, a good job of creating their own headlines this offseason. Trinidad Chambliss won his lawsuit, which means one of the most nation's exciting playmaker returns, while more than half of a dozen assistants followed Kiffin to LSU. Only 4 players ultimately transferred there, helping limit the roster fallout more than many expected. Ole Miss has a lot of talent this year, ladies and gentlemen. They just do. They just do. The Pete Golding era officially begins after a strong showing in the college football playoff with 2 wins to reach the semifinals. Now the challenge becomes sustaining that momentum. The odds to make the college football playoffs plus 165. Kuwan Lacey, the great running back, along with Chambliss. We've got Ole Miss getting back to the playoffs this year. And you cannot leave out Oregon. You cannot leave out Oregon. This has to be the year of the Oregon Ducks finally breaking through to win its first national championship, right? The Ducks have seen the last 2 seasons end in the playoff at the hands of the eventual national champion. 2 years ago, the Buckeyes. Last year, the Hoosiers. And there's a sense that something has to flip in 26. Momentum for another title started early when Dante Mohr passed on a potential top 5 selection in the 2026 draft. 13 additional starters are back as well. A lot of players, man. They got a lot of returning players, including 8 from a defense that ranked 6th nationally. It's like the Irish. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. All these returning defensive players. Same with the Ducks. The biggest question, however, is structural, given that Oregon had to replace both coordinators, offense and defense, after they left for head coaching jobs elsewhere. And finally, in the hype train, we cannot forget the Virginia Tech Hokies. One could argue their no coaching change flipped the program's trajectory more than James Franklin's arrival at Blacksburg. The impact was almost immediate, with a notable boost on the recruiting trail, multiple high-profile flips, including several former Penn State commits who followed James Franklin to Blacksburg. The Hokies closed the 2026 cycle with a top 30 high school recruiting class and has already sit inside the top 10 nationally for 2027. That recruiting surge has been matched by a major step up in investment, highlighted by a record $75 million donation announced this past week, with the majority directed toward athletics. Franklin also arrives with one of the most consistent resumes in the sport, ranking 4th among the 26 current Power 4 head coaches with at least a decade in FBS in winning percentage. The move to the ACC offers a different level of week-to-week grind compared to the Big Ten. And the belief in Blacksburg is that Franklin could position Virginia Tech as a sleeping giant finally ready to break through. The odds for the Hokies to make the playoffs this year is plus 1,300. There is your hype train. There it is for 2026, spring of 2026. Let me know, does Cody Nagel, these are based on Cody Nagel, CBS Sports vibes. His vibes that he's getting out of those camps. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Let me know with the phone calls. Just let me know what you're thinking. I thought it was a great article. There's going to be a lot of off the field news coming this week. We're going to follow it all. But I want to talk a lot of college football on this beautiful Sunday, June 7th. Okay. Now, let's get to the Trojan horse. I brought it up at the very beginning of the show. What is the one thing that this bill would accomplish if it got passed, as it's written? The one thing, it would not, as it's written, it would not permanently stop the Big Ten and the SEC from expanding. Eventually could lead to that. We'll get to that in a moment. But not in how it's written. It stops them from expanding anytime soon, from acquiring and media rights from another school. But then again, a Utah, a Kansas, their media rights become available in 2030, 31. The bill would not stop the Big Ten and the SEC from acquiring one of those schools' media rights because they're out there. The schools, Utah and Kansas, has those media rights. You're not acquiring them from the Big 12 or the ACC. But regardless, the main point that the Big Ten and the SEC, the one major point of that bill that they will not let through the gates, even though they have major problems with taking away some of their sovereignty and other issues, is that it gets the government in the room more than ever. In that bill, the government gets to review the structure of the governance in the years ahead. The Big Ten and the SEC read that as the government will take over. That is the biggest fear from the Big Ten and the SEC, that they no longer are going to make any decisions eventually in that bill. It is in there. Of the 111 pages, it is in there. The government can review the structure of how decisions are made. That is after talking with a few other people here. After this came out, I had to make a phone call. I poked and prodded. The Big Ten presidents and chancellors, Ross Dellinger, also received an invitation for a meeting with Senator Maria Cantwell and Ted Cruz on Tuesday. Like the SEC invite, it is only for them and the board members and chairs. So, if you're a board member, if you're a regent, you're whatever, you're chairman of the board, you can go to this virtual meeting. And there's going to be some that go. I don't know how many, but you know. It is unclear if either group of executives will participate without the commissioners. But the commissioners and the Big Ten presidents and the SEC presidents, they're not willing to give away the decision-making ability of the conferences. And that is what Ted Cruz's and Cantwell bill does, if it passes. It's hidden in the bill. It's cloak and dagger, but it's there. It gives the government the ability to review and restructure the governing body of college sports. Maria Cantwell said it. The Big Ten and the NCAA is not going to receive antitrust exemption. So who's going to receive it? Who is actually receiving the antitrust exemption if this bill passes? Can anybody answer that question? Can anybody answer that question? If this bill passes and there is so-called antitrust exemption, who gets the exemption? Who's receiving it? Unless they pool their rights together, no one. The bill does absolutely, it does not, as it's written, it's not a mandatory of people gathering their rights together. It does not protect anything in regards to Olympic sports, Olympic funding. It doesn't, the bill literally does nothing. Except for one thing. OPD Dunn's correct. It gives the ability for the government to redo the structure, the decision making. That is what is actually what Cody Campbell, what Sports Capital wants to have happen. That's the one. All the other stuff is window dressing. You know, the eligibility and 75% this and blah, blah, blah. None of that other stuff even matters because it can all change. It can all get rearranged. Everything, none of it matters if it gives the government the ability to restructure everything. Which, by the way, was the original part of the Cody Campbell plan in his original plan. It's in this one. The Big Ten presidents, I have been told, this is part of the program tonight. They are all aware. All of them are aware what's in the bill. The legal counsel of the Big Ten, they've gone through it. The information has been distributed among the Big Ten presidents. And I'm guessing the SEC, but I'm just giving you stuff that I was told within the last 8 hours. This bill could say that OPD Dunn gets $50 million in 2030. But the bill would not mean anything. That doesn't mean anything because the government can restructure everything once this bill gets passed. That part of the bill is literally blowing everything up. It doesn't give the bill a chance. And the ACC and the Big 12, and I love Big 12 football, I love ACC football, I love all that. You guys know I cover it like crazy. I love all of it. But the ACC and the Big 12, they've got some people, some presidents, some chancellors, some athletic. They're activated on this. They're calling their representatives. It's being reported by Ross Dellinger and others. They're getting out there. They're knocking on doors. They're trying to get support for this bill. It's in their best interest. God bless them. Because they wouldn't mind if their government restructured everything. They wouldn't mind if Cody Campbell got his hands on the wheels. Not all the Big 12 schools, not all the ACC schools, but a large part of them. And that's why you're seeing that divide. That's why you're seeing that. That's why you're seeing a bunch of ACC schools not supporting it. And some are. Most of the Big 12 schools are supporting it. A couple are not. This Trojan horse is not getting through the gates. And again, Maria Cantwell and Cruz are not going to take it out of the bill. They can't take it out of the bill. Ted Cruz cannot take that part out of the bill. Where the government, you see, the SCORE Act, which was supported by the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, they wanted antitrust exemption for the conferences, for the NCAA, whatever you want to call that governing body, but a governing body that is accountable to the schools, to the conferences. They wanted that governing body, to have some credibility in the courts, to create the rules and enforce the rules. That is what they asked the government for, that protection. They did not get it. What they received back is this bill that says, we'll give you protection, but not with the NCAA, not with you guys. We'll give you protection after who takes control? What governing body? You see? The bill literally does nothing but give control to the government. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, Greg, you're so anti-government. I'm not. But you know how I feel about this bill. The truth of the matter is, this is the Cody Campbell bill. This is smash capital bill. Paul Feinbaum, a lot of times I disagree with Paul Feinbaum, but the Big Ten absolutely agrees with Paul Feinbaum. The smash capital part of this, you keep asking yourself, why are they even involved in this? What are they doing? What are they involved in? Smash Capital wants to invest in a super league. They wanted 138, fine. They want 70, fine. They'll take whatever number they want to be in the door of being investing billions in the super league, and then they want control at the behest of the government, because they want to be able to control the scheduling, as Paul Feinbaum says. They want to be able to control the complete structure of college sports. That's what Sports Capital wants. They wanted it with Jack Swarbrick in the first iteration of it. They want it in the next iteration of it. They want it, whatever happens, they want to be involved. They are spending the money. It's not just Cody Campbell. They're spending the money along with Cody Campbell. They're willing. They've already done it. They try to get representatives on board. This is a takeover. This is a takeover of college sports. It's not just taking away the commissioners. It's taking away who's accountable to the presidents and the athletic directors and the schools. The government ain't going to be accountable to them. The government's just going to make the rules. The Trojan horse is not getting in the gates. Those Tuesday virtual meetings with Cantwell and Cruz, we're going to report on it. We're going to report on the results of it if there's any reports coming out of it. But those are not going anywhere. You don't think that the presidents of these universities in the Big Ten and the SEC, they've already had their legal counsel tell them what is actually in the bill. And the bill is, President, You've got no more say. Your commission is not going to have any more say. A decade from now, whatever you want to have happen ain't happening. It's got to if you want to change something, you're going to have to go back to government again. So what I think is going to happen here is that the Big Ten and the SEC, once this bill dies, they're gonna come. They've already gotten there, but they can't ask government for help. It's not working. It's not going to work. Look what they've gotten back. So they're going to go alone. They're going to go alone. Unless a miracle happens. Unless we get some other government intervention that doesn't have all this government taken over eventually. But I don't know how that can happen. We've got a Studzilla $10 holla super chat. Cody Campbell feels like the other kids didn't want to play with him, so he asked the adults to force the other kids to play with him. Instead, they all rather go to a new playground. Cody Campbell, it's his money, it's his voice. He's been very influential, but at the end of the day, he's going to come up short. In my opinion, let me know how wrong I got it. Michael Smith, thank you so much, Studzilla. I appreciate your support as always. Thank you, sir. I'm Studzilla. Studzilla, thank you very much. Michael Smith, antitrust exemption has been extremely rare since 1890. The NCAA could receive it right now, but they have to declare players, employees, and a bunch of other hoops. I used to think that. I used to agree with you on that. I don't. I think if the NCAA, which represents the schools, by the way, which is us, if the schools came out and said students can be employees and blah, 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 other hoops, I still think the people who Cody Campbell does not want conferences to exist. He does not want there to be individual conferences existing based upon individual conferences' decisions. He wants autonomy to completely be destroyed. That was part of his very first saving college sports. The very first thing that he wrote up, a government entity would run it. This bill, the Cantwell Cruz bill, is the same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's a soft sell, not a hard sell, but that's what it is. Thank you, Michael Smith, for that comment. I appreciate it. We've got OBD done. OBD done. In other words, the government gets their foot in your door, which means they are now in the kitchen, eating all your food, running up your electricity, kissing your wife, and clogging your toilet. Damn. Thank you for the $10 holler, OBD done. That is what the Big Ten and the SEC perceives this bill to be. You saw Sankey, I don't have it ready to put up here, but you saw Sankey's statements. Eventually he said, we want to make decisions. We've been making them for decades. We want to continue to make them. The SEC presidents are not going to be for this bill because the decision making gets taken away from them. Thank you, OPD Don. Thank you for your incredible kindness to this program, helping us keep the lights on here, literally growing the channel. Thank you, OPD Don. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you very much. Kenneth Maynard, the government is already in the door. 90% of FBS are public institutions. You know, There are billion-dollar decisions. Billion, not million. Billion-dollar decisions that are being made by Johns Hopkins, by the University of Minnesota, by the University of Wisconsin-Madison, by Pittsburgh, by all these universities. There are major, big-time money decisions that are being made. Vanderbilt, University of Georgia, University of California, Berkeley. That has to do with endowments, that has to do with research, that the government is not controlling those decisions. These university endowments, a lot of them rely on private equity. The government cannot sit there and make these decisions for the universities. Because if they did, innovation, creativeness, efficiency would be just thrown out the window. Yes, everything's regulated. Of course it is. But there is nobody in government smart enough to make all of these millions of decisions with billions of dollars at stake. That is not the government's core. It can't do it. Same thing with athletics. This Senate hearing did not give me any encouragement. Cruz doesn't even know the difference between a breakaway, a conference going silo, and a Super League. He doesn't even know the real threat of the Super League. A real threat of a Super League is if the top half of the Big Ten and the top half of the SEC combine and do a Super League, and that's not even protected in this bill. Again, this bill does nothing but get government in the door. But thank you for your statement, Kenneth Maynard. Very much appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Cope, $5 holler, the Sooner Sun Devil. Think of it this way, Kenneth Maynard. Do we want a government-ran SEC network and Big Ten network? No way, Jose. Free enterprise. No, Sankey made a clear. Sankey said in public, this is what he told Ted Cruz. We don't want a Super League. We don't want people mixing up the Big Ten network and the SEC network. Those are two different enterprises. We're not going to mix them. We're not mixing up our conferences. There is no Super League being talked about or created. Except by people like Smash Capital. They're the ones, Cruz, not the commissioners. The SEC presidents do not want a Super League with the Big Ten. The Big Ten presidents don't want a Super League with the Southeastern Conference. I don't think Ted Cruz realizes a lot of this stuff. To be honest with you, I'm not an anti-Ted Cruz. I'm not a political machine. I don't think Maria Cantwell understands it either. Okay? I'm ripping on both leaders. All right. Karan Shakar, Midwest farmers want government subsidies. Midwest factory workers want government bailouts, but now want the government to stay out of football. All right, Karan Shakar, how about this? Subsidized, if the Big 12 wants to be subsidized by the government, more dollars coming into them, ACC, more dollars coming into them, Conference USA, the American, and all these other conferences, go to the government and ask for a subsidy. There's going to be strings attached, but go do it that way. If you want the analogy to fit, that's the analogy. Then why are you threatening to break away to get what you want? Here, what is the option? I always get back to that. What are the options? What are the options? We need to have governance. What is the options? The SCORE Act, which would have given antitrust exemption to the NCAA, was defeated. What's the option? Got to be able to make rules. Got to be enforce the rules without the courts coming down. What are the options? I just don't know if there's any more options. That doesn't do. That's not an. That doesn't. Greg should be commissioner. I think things would really go down the drain if I became Super League. No. Silo, yes. Super League ain't gonna work. A Super League, if you're talking about a Super League, Tommy, of the SEC and the Big Ten merging, they would not be able to get antitrust protections in the courts if they emerge. Because if they merge, they would have market power. If they stay silo, they're going to have protections, antitrust protections. Just look at the Ivy League case that just happened. Look at what the judge said in the Alston case. The courts are giving the conferences credibility because they're competing with other conferences. So the student, like when students, whoever it was, said that the Ivy League was wrong in saying that they would not give scholarships to the student athletes. The Ivy League said in the courts, we can make our rules. Student athletes do not have to participate in Ivy League schools. They can go to other places. The courts looked at both sides and said, the Ivy League's correct. They can make their own rules, govern their own rules. The NCAA had the market power, according to the courts. The NCAA cannot make all these rules. They cannot enforce them. That's the problem we've been having. So we try to get a SCORE Act. We try to get protection. It did not work. This bill is a complete joke. This bill does not give the NCAA, it literally doesn't do anything. It doesn't. Unless we all pull our rights together, and then there's some protections that happen. But the SEC and the Big Ten, they're not going to do that. And right now it's optional in the bill. This bill literally does not achieve anything except for get government in the door. So what are the options to a silo? A silo is dangerous. A silo could just blow up in so many different ways. I absolutely agree with you. But again, what is the option to a silo? I don't have an answer. There's nobody that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people. Nobody has an answer. Nobody. All right, let's open up the phone lines. I do want to thank Mohr After Dark, Christopher Hooter, Ricky Tungate, Studzilla again, OPD Dunn, and Sooners. Send up a coat for your donations. I appreciate it. Let's get to the phone lines. The phones are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. The phone lines are wide open.
Rick?
Rick, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Greg. And hope you're enjoying your Sunday. I did get to watch your show a couple of days ago. And yes, when I watched the rerun, I was screaming at the computer. It was, as you recall, whether or not we could have, are they or are they not going to be part of the NCAA?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Well, no, it's a simple question, and it's kind of like, are you pregnant or aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if she's pregnant or not, and I don't know if they're part of it or not. If they do this,
because you're not both. You're either making your own regulations, or you're following NCAA regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can go off and do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be calling yourself NCAA once you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing, I got a kick out of Opie's analogy there with the government intervention. I always think of the movie Casino. You ever seen that one? Where I don't know, about 1/3 of the way or halfway into the movie, the guy with the restaurant owner asked Paulie if he wants to become a partner with him, and that's how I see the government intervention.
Yeah, I did see it, but I can't. I don't have a terrible memory for movies. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about it, you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. This bill gets government in the. They're going to run the shop now if this bill passes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but they would have under your bill, under the SCORE Act, the one when you were screaming for we need government intervention, we need a government miracle.
Wait. I said we need antitrust protection.
No. Go back and watch your old podcasts.
Okay, I will. But I look, the school. No. Hold on a second. Hold on. I said that we need codification, be it whatever bill it is. We need codification of the House settlement, and if we ruin that settlement, we could be very screwed. And look what's happening. We're not going to get it codified. If we're not going to get codified and other protected from the courts, the breakaway, who knows what's going to happen? That's what I said.
Your ox is getting gored, and you don't like it.
My ox is getting gored. The Big Ten ox?
On this government intervention. The last government intervention with the SCORE Act, you were just fine with.
I would not, look, I would, government intervention, you're right. Government intervention that gives credibility to the rules that we create. And by the way, that's all of us, because we do have a governance structure, but it doesn't matter. Every rule that we create together in the Division I Council, all that is open to being shot down by the courts, because we do not have the ability to make our rules and to govern ourselves. So yes, I was for government intervention and giving us the ability to create rules. Yes. You're right.
What's being shot down in the courts, let's get it right. What's being shot down in the courts is what's illegal. So when you come up with rules, what you call rules, and they're illegal, they're worthless. So you can come up with 100 rules, but if only one of the 100 is legal, the other 99 are nothing.
And what would make them legal is what? Collective bargaining, right?
Well, I don't know. You're talking about it. The last show I listened to, you were talking about making them independent contractors. So let's just talk about that for a second.
Well, wait. That is what the Big Ten is, one of the models that they're working at. Yes. Not me. Okay, go ahead.
Right. One of them. Well, I can't talk to them.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
In what world can independent contractors collectively bargain?
Oh, it wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. It would not be a collective bargain with like a union with true representation. You're correct on that. But the Big Ten, and the SEC, if they go silo, I don't think they're looking at a collective bargaining like with the union, with having their student athletes become employees. I don't think they believe they have to go down all the way down that road. Maybe they will someday. Maybe they're going to have to. But I don't think they feel like they have to go all the way down that road to get credibility in the courts. I think they believe that the Ivy League case and the Alston case is a good representation of what they're going to receive in the courts in protecting themselves and making rules. I think the collective the bargaining with the student athletes, however model it happens, that would have to do with making this more of a protection of the blowback they would get if they would go their silo. I think that's how they're looking at it. Go ahead, sir.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question of whether or not, when they go off on their own,
Yep.
or if they don't go off on their own, because I don't care which. I'm just enjoying this from the business standpoint.
Yep.
Not from the college football standpoint.
Yep.
Whichever direction they go, are the athletes going to be employees? Yes or no?
No. Well, eventually, possibly, yeah. But in my opinion, in the immediate going silo, no. I don't think anybody's opinion has changed on that. Eventually, yeah, that could obviously that could happen. But right away, no. I don't think the SEC and the Big Ten are going down that road. The University of Minnesota, which is like the most progressive university out there, other than maybe California, Berkeley, they're absolutely against student athletes becoming employees. I know that 100% for a fact. So if you don't have the University of Minnesota being for it yet, we're not going there yet. But eventually it may happen. You know, forever is a very long time. So there is no forever no. But go ahead.
And I understand that. And I understand that most of the universities feel that way.
All of them.
And I understand why, because they don't want to lose their tax-exempt status. So that's simple. That's the simple part of it.
Yeah.
The difficult part of it is, what are they if they're not employees?
And that's what the Big Ten is kicking around, the models, different models. I don't know what the answer is, but one of those things was a independent contractor type of situation. I don't know. They got to figure that out.
They can't be an independent contractor.
Okay. Well, they may not become. That idea might have already been shut down by the time I got it out of my mouth on that live show. I'm just saying, that was one of the things that were kicking around.
I mean, it violates so many different regulations of what they can and can't do. I mean, if they were an independent contractor, who's your Gopher quarterback?
Drake Lindsay, baby.
Drake. If Drake is an independent contractor, he can work for whomever he wants, whenever he wants.
Yeah,
so that
he signed a contract with Minnesota.
On a bye week at Minnesota, he can go get a job with Wisconsin for a week.
Nope.
And play for the Badgers.
Nope, not per his contract. He signed the contract.
He's an independent contract.
Not every contract has to be part of some collective bargaining for that contract to be valid.
No collective bargaining with independent contractors.
I know, but Rick, not a contract is not valid only when it's under a collective bargain. Contracts are
That's
valid.
correct.
Huh?
That's correct.
Yeah,
But
Drake
you
Lindsay.
can't
Drake Lindsay has a contract with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. He's not playing for the Badgers. Period. Ain't gonna happen. Can't happen.
As an independent contractor, he can do it anytime.
No,
He's
no,
not
he can't. No, he can't. If there's the WWE are the wrestlers at WWE are independent contractors. They can't wrestle at WWE and then go wrestle at AEW the following week. So that's contracts. No, that's sorry. That's not how it works. But go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, we'll differ on that one.
Yeah. All right.
So once they go into their own silo,
Yeah.
well, first of all, let's define going into a silo. If they decide they're going, if the Big Ten decides tonight they're going to play 10 conference games,
Yes.
starting next year,
Yeah.
has the Big Ten gone into its own silo?
No, because they are afforded the ability to go to 10 conference games under the NCAA. I think. Am I wrong on that? I might be wrong on that, but I think they can go to 10 conference games. I don't know if they need a special waiver. There's so many rules. I don't know.
I would agree with you. I don't think that. I think they're more than free to do that.
Yeah.
But if they don't leave the NCAA, they can't go into their own silo, right?
That gets back to your original question.
I know it does.
You're either pregnant or you're not.
You are.
Look, can the Big Ten say, look, we're going in a football silo, but we want all other sports to be under the NCAA umbrella? I don't know what the NCAA's reaction to that is going to be. I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. This is uncharted waters. I don't know. Maybe there is a half pregnancy here. I don't know. I don't know.
Have a great show.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Beautiful. We've got the real Gorb. The real Gorb. Thanks for coming on in, and thank you for your incredible generosity. I very much appreciate it. We've got a $5 holla.
Call from
Christopher Hooter.
I'm sorry. What was the name?
Hey, it's Christopher Hooter, buddy. How are you?
Oh, Christopher Hooter. Can you hold on for just a second, please?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. We got it. The real Gorb, $5 holler. The university presidents, the athletic directors, and coaches who got us into this situation, NCAA are the universities. They don't have the ability to fix this. Eagles, tribal, and more. A lot of people would agree with you, real Gorb. A lot of people will agree with you, but they do not want to give up their decision making as well. So I don't know. The real Gorb, thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it. It was the schools, it was the leadership that got us into this situation. Decade after decade after decade. I appreciate it, real Gorb. I would agree with you. Christopher Hooter, the floor is yours. Thank you, real Gorb. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to step in it with you and Rick there.
Got it.
So we already kind of have a quasi-employment, but you're only kind of employed, kind of pregnant model, and it's a graduate internship. You're a full-time graduate student, you get your PhD in physics or whatever,
Yeah.
and and you're paid. Maybe you teach a couple courses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But that's all part of the. Well, I'm not going to call it an employment package. Is it all part of the scholarship? Right?
Yeah. You're getting paid beyond your scholarship.
You're getting paid beyond your scholarship. Yeah. Yes. Now, are interns, quote, employees? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Or are they paid by the grant?
Do they get workers' comp? Probably not.
Right, and all that. Probably not. So there might be an existing path where you are kind of pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was sort of my thoughts there when you and Rick were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Now interns do not collectively bargain.
No.
But could they? Yeah, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe the intern athlete works for a third party. He's an employee of a third party.
Well, that's one of the ideas that the Big Ten is kicking around. I don't know if they're going to land on that. I'm definitely not saying that. That's one of the ideas we know they're kicking around. And maybe they come to the conclusion that doesn't work. I don't know.
Well, in that case, they're employed, but they're not employed by the school.
Yeah.
Or the athletic department. They're
contracted out. They're like a you're like am I employed? Yes, I'm employed by a temp agency. That type of thing.
Or there you go, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. So there might be avenues you can do this. I don't think people care if they're, quote, employed. They just don't want them to be employed by the university.
Yeah, they don't want that, and it's all the schools. There is not one school out there that wants that to happen.
And it would change the flavor. I mean, right now it's bad because everybody's following the money. But if you're a jock, and you've got school A, B, and C, all things being equal, I want you to go to the one you want to go to. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't just want you to follow the money, right? Because that's where you're going to make your friends for life and things like that. And of course, you can't do that if you're bouncing around and transferring every other year. Yeah. Anyway, that was my thought. The intern or work for a third party, and maybe you can kind of work around it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the SEC's kicking around the ideas as well, so it's a lot of work to go silo. A lot of pitfalls, I think, but we'll find out.
Well, and is silo, because silo is so complicated and it's so risky, is it we are not expanding now. We're going to do this. We know our 16 team. We know we got our 16 schools.
Yeah.
We trust our 16 schools. We don't need any newcomers. I don't care how sexy they are. Because we're going into uncharted territory. Is that the vibe?
I think that will be the initial thoughts, yes. But I think those thoughts will probably change if it's successful.
Yeah, okay, right. So we'll do that a couple of years. Okay, we're good. Yeah. All right, we took the onslaught. We survived. Everybody's over it. Okay, all right. So, all right, man. Well, anyway, those are my 2 cents for the day.
Great call, sir.
Bye.
Thank you. Beautiful call by Christopher Hooter. We've got a super chat. Helmer Henderson coming on in.
From Rick.
Rick, can you hold on for just one moment, please?
Oh, you bet.
Helmer Henderson, imagine the Big Ten expansion first with Miami and Duke, both independent. Little blowback could shield SEC from blowback as they would be forced to expand. That's a possibility. I don't know if the SEC would feel forced to expand if that would happen. But I mean, there's some Big Ten folk, a lot of people in PATC family that actually wants that to happen. Why wait around? Miami and Duke could be that blend. Both independent schools. I think that's a long shot, but all these scenarios are long shots. There is no one. Thank you, Hammer Henderson. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it. I think a lot of people are probably nodding their head yes. That maybe that would shield some of the blowback, along with whatever they can figure out when it comes to giving their student athletes some representation somehow, possibly, maybe not. Rick, the floor is yours. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, again, Greg, real quick, just to help out Christopher Hooter,
Yep.
and maybe you. The graduate assistants at the University of Minnesota are University of Minnesota employees, and they have the right to collectively bargain, and they do, and they're in a union, a graduate labor union, United Electrical Radio and Machine Workers of America.
Okay.
And
I'll take a look at that.
Working for the University of Minnesota Board of Regents. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it, Rick. Thank you very much. We got Evo Badgers Super Chat. Does Rick need to yell? I have no problem with Rick yelling. Very passionate. I yell. I yell on here. I'm not yelling at anybody. Rick's not yelling at me. He's just being passionate, and I appreciate it. That's why we have the phone lines open. We got to hear your voices. This is what this show is all about. So, does he need to yell? Most of the time, he's not yelling, but he's a very passionate guy. So am I. But I do appreciate your Evo Badger. Thank you for the $2 holler. Very much appreciate it. Back and forth. Again, we're swimming in uncharted waters. In everything we're discussing here.
From
John Grove.
John Grove, every man a Wildcat. The floor is yours. What's going on, sir?
This is going to be the quickest phone call you'll ever get, Greg. First and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. You just said you were able to yell during phone calls, so because of that, I'm just going to yell, suck at Penn State! We got the best prospect in the state of Kansas. He's staying home. He's not flirting with the Nittany Lions or the Evil Badgers, for that matter. So, all right, I'm going to hang up now.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank
you, sir.
Later.
Thank you. Beautiful. The best player in the state of Kansas, staying home, I guess. Excellent. Getting some of these comments here. Not in the chat room. I'm talking about in my DMs. I wonder how long till Greg's neighbors call him in. I don't know what that means. Don Scrugg, Rick scares and delights me. Big Ten is littered with corruption to its fullest max. People DM me all the time, Karan Shakar. I have many DMs. And I'm okay with that, and I like that. I like people keeping their head on a swivel and keeping me updated. But, yeah, I can't keep up with all of it, though. But I do enjoy it. I learn a lot from different parts of the country that I was not aware of. So people are keeping me updated. I appreciate it. All right, I think we're gonna call it. We've been on the air for 2 hours. A beautiful Sunday afternoon. I do want to thank Mohr After Dark, Christopher Hooter, Ricky Tungate, Studzilla, OBD Dunn, Cope, The Real Gorb, Hemmer Hennison, and Eva Badger for your donations. I appreciate it. Appreciate your help keeping the lights on and growing the channel. We did a spotlight on the UCLA Bruins. They've got some talent, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Chesney brought some talent in. Looking at Nico, I'm leaving on a jet plane at UCLA for his second year. Bringing in Wayne Knight, the big superstar from James Madison last year. Leland Smith, one of the good San Jose State wide receivers. The Bruins landed one of them. Landon Ellis, very good James Madison receiver last year. Scooter Jackson, Roderick Pleasant, really good secondary players for the Bruins. We're looking at the football schedule. That first game, Saturday, September 5th, California. JKS versus Nico. I'm excited about that one. And again, we talked about the Trojan horse, the hype. A lot of hype going on. Virginia Tech, Ole Miss, LSU, USC, and others. We talked about that. We went through a great article by Cody Nagel from CBS Sports. I hope you enjoyed that article. I enjoyed delivering it to you because it was a great article written by Mr. Nagel. A lot of hype. It's starting to happen. June 7th, we're getting into it tomorrow, Monday, June 8th. What is right around the corner here at College Football's Peak Around the Corner? I anticipate an episode here, an episode there, a live show, more drama in college football. Stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, share the video with your family and friends, and make sure you ring that notification bell because we can come on live at any time. We might have to do a live breakfast show tomorrow. You never know. You never know here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner. Until next time, from all of us to all of you, please, y'all, make sure you all take great care of each other. That is the most important thing. Please take great care of each other, and as always, God,